This is a copper horn, an item which was briefly added in the Minecraft Bedrock Edition previews that can play 3 different sounds depending on whether if the player is looking up, crouching, or neither. And this is Mojang removing the copper horns because according to a wiki article, they didn't live up to the developers' design goals. And after 3 years since their removal, Mojang never talked about the copper horns ever again. But I want to. And in this video, I'm going to recreate the copper horns into Minecraft. So let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is to add the copper horn items. Since there's 10, we need to register 10 new items for the copper horns. And when we go into the game and get them through commands, they'll appear. Oh, and ignore this one. This is just so we can get the item group like this. Okay, so that's done. Now for no particular reason, let me just get a normal goat horn and wait, why is there only one? So here's a little fun fact about Minecraft goat horns. If you ever try to get them through the creative inventory menu, you can see that there's actually 8 goat horns. But if you ever try to get them through the /gift command, you notice that the game only displays 1 goat horn item rather than 8. That's because in the game software, they actually literally only added 1 item for the goat horn and made a whole custom system for the instrument data functionality. They also did the same thing when they made a whole data component system for suspicious stew, fireworks, and even enchantment books. So essentially, it is just 1 item but with a whole dedicated system to give them different data components to make it look like different functional items. So if I really want to recreate the copper horns in its full glory, or at least similar to the goat horns, I'm gonna have to write that whole dedicated system specifically for the copper horn instrument. So let's get started. The first thing we need is this record class. This is where we're gonna write the codec for the bass, harmony, and melody sounds for the copper horns. And we're also gonna have to include the use duration of the copper horns and the range of how far players can hear the sound. Next we need to write the registries for the instrument type for the copper horns, and then write the data component types for the copper horn instruments. Are you still with us? No? Good, because we still have a lot to go through. Don't worry, some of these might make sense later. Next we need to register the sounds for the copper horns. This is basically where we actually add the sounds into the game. Now if you remember, there are 3 different sounds for each copper horn. There's the bass sounds, the harmony sounds, and the melody sounds. And there's 10 different copper horns. So all we gotta do is to write 30 lines of code to register the 30 different copper horn sounds, right? Well, not necessarily. If you ever try to play the goat horn sounds through commands, you notice that the game displays the sound names as numbers rather than their actual names. That's because they're written in a way that the goat horn sound file paths are contained within a list. And there is some fancy programming to kind of assign each of the unique sound file paths with their own numbers rather than names. So following that, we can write 3 different lists and that fancy programming for the different sounds for the copper horns. Oh, and make sure to write a JSON file that lists out all the sound file paths so that you can play them using the play sound command. And the last step is to add the actual sound files for the copper horns. Thankfully, there is a website where you can download those sound files called Minecraft Wiki. Thank you, Minecraft Wiki. And congratulations, you can now play the copper horn sounds using commands. Now we need to make the copper horn item to play the sounds. The first thing we need to do is to register the instrument for the copper horn. This is basically where different items remember what sounds they should only play. So for the instrument of the goat horns, when they're registered, each different instrument is going to be assigned with their own unique sound to kind of like make them remember that, oh, I'm the dream goat horn instrument, I should only play the dream sound. I wear a mask with a smile. Now the thing here is that for the copper horns, each of them needs to remember 3 different sounds instead of 1, and only those 3 sounds for each of the 10 horns. Thankfully, we can use the code that we wrote earlier, the codec that stores the 3 sounds, use duration, and range data for the copper horns. Then we need to write the instrument tags. This is going to be where we categorize the different instrument sets we wrote earlier. This is mostly used for stuff like making randomized loot tables, which we will touch on later. Okay, now time to make the actual copper horn item. The first thing we need to write is a custom item class file for the copper horn. Now, all the code written here is very similar to the goat horn, but there are a few changes to fit for the copper horn. One of those changes is the get stack for instrument method. Remember when I said Mojang made a system to separate the goat horns based on the sounds they can play? Yeah, this is part of it. Basically, when we import a copper horn instrument into a copper horn item, that item will now have a custom data component, which we wrote earlier, to remember that, oh, this copper horn can now play the inputted instrument. Speaking of which, we also need to add some additional code to make them play the 3 different sounds depending on the player's pose. Then finally, we need to register the actual copper horn item, and we're pretty much done in recreating the copper horn. Oh, and to further demonstrate the get stack for instrument method, let's write some code to make the 10 copper horns appear in the creative inventory menu. And now let's demonstrate the copper horn playing the different sounds. So if we look up, we are playing the harmony sound. If we crouch, we're playing the bass. And if we don't do either, we're playing melody. Okay, that's all handy dandy, but how do we obtain them in survival? Well, before they got removed, each copper horn has their own crafting recipe depending on the goat horn. Now, the way to create their crafting recipe is a bit different, since in the programming style of the game, the goat horns are still technically one single item but with just different data components, that being the instrument sets. And the game doesn't really care about anything other than the item on the surface level, so if you try to create the crafting recipe like any other regular recipe, you can craft a copper horn with any goat horn, but the game will not assign it an instrument set based on the sound the goat horn can play. So, how do we fix that? Thankfully, there is a thing called the Special Recipe Serializer. This is basically how you can craft different firework explosions based on your ingredients, and that is where we can create special crafting recipes for the copper horn. So with that said, we now have a way to craft the 10 copper horns from the 8 goat horns. Oh my god, we are missing 2 goat horns. So apparently there were originally 10 goat horns. Ponder, sing, seek, feel, admire, call, yearn for the might, dream, fly, and resist. But for whatever reason, Mojang decided to remove fly and resist. Actually they removed fly and dream, but they then later decided to rename the old resist goat horn to dream to match with Java edition. Hehehehe. What's your major? Oh my god, the brainrot has not left my brain. Skibbity. Anyways, history lesson aside, so we now have to recreate the fly and resist goat horns back into Minecraft, which is actually simpler than recreating the copper horns. All we need to do is to add their sound event, their instrument key, register the instrument with the sound event, download their sound file, write the file path in the JSON file so they can play the sounds via commands, and one final crucial thing. See, in order to get the different goat horns to appear in the creative inventory menu, Mojang wrote this sort of like loop code thing to go through the goat horn tag files and display the different goat horns with the stored instrument type. Better explanation. So if we look at the regular goat horn tag and the screaming goat horn tag JSON files, the game will display the different goat horns from a top to bottom sequence based on these JSON files. So essentially, yeah, we need to write some stuff into these files. The problem with that is, well, when it comes to changing the original Minecraft files, we cannot change that. As in, we literally do not have the ability to write anything or delete anything. We can look at the code, but we cannot change anything. But fret not, dear viewer, for I, Matthew Skaya, have discovered an alternative solution. It's gonna be an operation that only the most intelligent mind could accomplish. This is what 4 hours of sleep, 8 cups of coffee, and 12 hours of scrolling through Instagram Reels have led up to. Are you ready, folks? Cause here we go. Yeah, that's it. And bada bing bada boom, we now have the fly and resist goat horns. So basically what is going on here is that even though we cannot edit the original files for the goat horn tags, we can still actually add other goat horn sounds or even replace the original ones with a dedicated JSON file. It's basically like the original file is still in the game, but our JSON file is like overriding it. Oh, and one thing that I almost forgot to mention is that with this, we can actually now obtain the fly and resist goat horns in survival. Right now the file is overwritten to make it easier to demonstrate, but yeah, you can kind of see it works now. Alright, 10 goat horns, 10 copper horns. Time to wrap this up. Write the special crafting recipe captured to the copper horns, the grid pattern, the serializer, and this is the part where we can decide which goat horn sounds correspond to which copper horn sound in the crafting recipe. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea which goat horn corresponds to which copper horn, and I don't have time to research that. Thank you University for that. So I'm just gonna connect them based on my own guesses. So Ponder turns to Gray Sky Falling, Sing turns to Oheim Resting, Seek turns to Pure Water Desire, Feel turns to Humble Fire Memory, Admire turns to Dry Urge Anger, Call turns to Clear Temper Journey, Yearn turns to Fresh Nest Fog, Dream turns to Secret Lake Tear, Fly turns to Fearless River Gift, and Resist turns to Sweet Moon Love. And now let's just test it. So we have Pond over here, and then we just craft it like this. Wait. There we go. Okay, so if we have Ponder, we'll get Gray Sky Falling, but if we switch it to Resist, who have sweet moon love. So yeah, the crafting recipe actually works now. Now at this point in the development process, we're pretty much done with everything except for the fact that when we try to play the copper horn, you notice that it looks wrong when we play it. That's because for the go horns, they have this special model display thingy. Now I'm not gonna go into the specifics on how it works, but essentially file has numbers, number does math renders copper horns differently. So let's copy paste that to the copper horn, write our model predicate file so that the copper horn item can actually follow that special model display, and there you have it, bringing back the copper horns in Minecraft. Finally, after all these years, we finally got them. Think about it, we can make so much content now with these things and wait, where did they go? Yeah, sorry, these things still do not satisfy Mojang's vision for these things, so they sent me here to go ahead and incinerate them. Bye! Huh. Well, I guess that's it for the copper horn, I guess. What's the copper horn, you may ask? Well, let me show you, cause this is a copper horn. Oh, and if you guys like the copper horns, the download link for the mod is in the description. So, have fun with it, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, look at this, guys. I'm making a 1 hour loop of this video. I need to stop doom scrolling on Instagram, honestly.